Well, just hard-fought battle. Obviously, want to congratulate North Dakota State. The way the game played out, they played better than us, and ultimately dug ourselves a big hole. Guys, fought like crazy in that second half. Cut it to 3 a couple different times. One time up 3 or down 3 with the ball, and it just didn't. It just didn't happen for us. And I think we came here with one expectation, and I know it stings a lot for these guys, for these seniors in particular, that have laid such a foundation for our program. They've certainly built upon the seniors before them, but the success they've had and been through a lot of ups and some downs, and obviously this is a low point. You end up rattling off 15 victories and you can't finish it off. It certainly isn't where how we wanted this day to end, but I know the program is much better for their efforts, and I know they're much better off for being part of Montana State's football program. So I can't thank them enough, and we're going to miss them. I know that.
Thank you, Coach. So we'll open it up for questions first for our student athletes. If you could, as we did on Saturday, please name and affiliation, and then we'll get a microphone to you. So we'll start off right here, front row on the right.
Tommy, Braden Shaw, Bozeman Daily Chronicle. Tommy, I was just curious if you could talk about what changed for you guys offensively in the second half as you kind of started making that comeback.
Yeah, first of all, I just want to say this is Paul Brott, defensive tackle starter for us. Paul Brott, he's a stud. I appreciated playing for him. I just want to make sure everyone knows that. Mispronounced his name earlier, I suppose, but I don't know. I think that our offense was a little bit stagnant there from the first half, unfortunately, and we came up short because of it. But Coach Walker got us going. Players are making plays. Guys kept fighting. It's very easy, 21-3 to quit in a national championship game. It is. And we came back out there, and we had a group of guys that fought for this team, fought for the seniors, and just came up short.
We'll keep it over on the right-hand side, front row.
Victor Flores, 46 Empty Sports. Paul, was there anything you kind of saw up front for their offensive line that they were able to have some success, both passing and rushing, especially at the end there?
No, what I have to say is that they just outplayed us in the first half there. In the second half, I felt like we were coming back, playing harder, but they just outplayed us. They had better technique. Cam was able to escape the pocket and go for some big runs, and so we just got to get better at that.
We'll keep it over right-hand side, front row. Go ahead, please.
Parker Cotton with the Bozeman Daily Chronicle. Tommy and Paul, for both of you. Certainly not the ending that you hope for, but 15 wins still speaks to a lot of success. Can you take us through, now that the ride is over, what the journey of this season has been like and how special it will remain to you?
Yeah, I'll go first. Just a summation of an entire career playing for Montana State. It's just been a pleasure and an honor, and something that has grown me into the man I am today. And I wouldn't certainly trade it for anything. The early mornings, late nights, all the work. So many guys that I've met, that I've built relationships that I'll hold forever. Certainly this year was very special. So. Hats off to North Dakota State for beating us today. Unfortunately, I think the better team lost. So, but that's how it goes. Sometimes it's football. That's why they play the game. So, we just we didn't play the right game. But God is good in all circumstances, and I trust that.
Okay, we'll go keep it on the right, third row. Go ahead, please.
Grace Lawrence, MTN. Paul, what have these seniors meant to you? Just
Coming in here as a freshman and being here with these guys, they took me under my wing right away. I mean, as soon as I committed, Tommy DM'd me on Twitter saying how happy he was for me to be here, and these guys have led this place to just a higher standard. Each year, these class of seniors have just risen it to a higher standard, but I can't speak to enough of how much they led this team, how much they've meant to me and these younger guys. I mean, Tommy set new standards all the time. Brody's one of my best friends, same with Khabib, Blake Schmidt. I mean, they've done so much for me in this program. It's going to be different without them there.
We'll come over here to the left-hand side. Go ahead, please.
Coulter Nuanez, Skyline Sports. Paul, could you talk about the adjustments you guys made against the quarterback run game in the second half, and also what happened on the long touchdown when Miller got loose in the open field in the first half?
That first one, I'm pretty sure that was a draw, and we didn't have any middle pressure there, so he was able to just run through free. And then in the second half, or after that happened, we had two components that would close down those gaps so he couldn't escape through the middle there.
We'll go ahead. One or two more questions for our student athletes. Go ahead over on the right, front row.
Victor Flores, 406 MC Sports again. Tommy, you finished with program record for single-season touchdowns and in completion percentage, and you finished the season on the field. Just how gratifying was that to have all those accomplishments?
Yeah, I mean, in individual accomplishments, I've never really, loved. I think it's always been about the team and what they've done from our coaching staff, how they set me up in good positions. I'm a kid from Butte, Montana. We don't have quarterback coaches, so you go out there and play football, and they trusted me, and they gave me three, for the 4 seasons to play, and it was. It's an honor to represent this program, honor to represent those coaches and play for the guys in this program. I guess leave it at that.
Okay, Tommy and Paul, thank you so very much for joining us here this evening, and we'll go ahead and let you guys go back to the locker room.
Thank you, guys.
And we'll go ahead now and open it up for questions for Coach. Once again, name and affiliation. We'll start right over here. Left-hand side, second row.
Coulter Nuanez, Skyline Sports. Brent, could you talk about the way that Tommy sort of ignited you in the third quarter and how much that momentum sort of helped you guys close the gap?
Yeah, coming in down 18 and a half, certainly wasn't where we wanted to be, but we knew we were still, a drive and a stop away from being right back in it. And, how he played in that second half, and we mixed it up a little bit more. And, I think he just did what he always has done, is he's made plays. And, the result of this game isn't going to change. I think the fact that that's one of the all-time greats in our program. Not only a player, but just a student athlete, leader, everything. So you're really proud of what he's become, and just the way he speaks, you can get a sense for what his priorities are and were. And unfortunately, we came up short because I know winning this championship was the most important thing to him, and it didn't happen. And it wasn't because he didn't fight and scratch and do all kinds of things on that field tonight.
We'll go ahead over on the right-hand side, or we'll go right here. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brent. Greg Rockach from MTN Sports. Wanted to ask about, I think it was on their last scoring drive, the third down conversion. You guys are down 3, and if you can, hold them to 3 points there, you have a chance to go down and take the lead potentially. So that conversion and how crucial it was.
Well, there's a few of them. A few of those plays that they made. Cam Miller was 19 to 22, so that means they only had 3 incompletions. And there was a bunch of big third down plays in that. That would have went to, I don't know if that was to Nelson. I think the one you're talking about. They got 7 on a 3rd and 6, and I know the slot fade, the end, the third quarter was a third down too. That was a huge play, and I thought Simeon was in a pretty good spot, and it just they made a better play, and that's probably whether they coached way better, whether they played way better. I don't know that it was way better, but they coached and played better than us today in those critical situations, those third downs. That's where it shows up the most.
We'll keep it over on the right-hand side.
Jeff Kolpak with a form. Brent, what kind of pressure did Cam put on you today?
Well, we didn't put a lot of pressure on him. I think that's where that's my first thought. So then the credit goes to, I suppose, their scheme, their front. He threw the ball where he wanted to, generally speaking, without much duress. I think the long touchdown run, our front parted like the Red Sea. I don't know that it was a draw. I think he just saw that opening, and we were in kind of a man underneath coverage, and he was gone. So knew that we had to put some pressure on him, and I don't think we did that. Ultimately, for him to rush for 121 yards, that was not going to be a good number for us to rush for those kind of yards, because he was he was going to make the plays probably in the passing game to some degree that he did, and a lot of credit goes to him. I know I'm really impressed with what he's become. I know we saw him as a young player out here in the 21 championship, and he's become an excellent quarterback.
We'll go ahead over on the right-hand side.
Victor Flores, 406 MT Sports. The 3 points in the first half, what kind of you think were the biggest explanations for the slow start?
Well, I look at and it's not our tailback's fault, but they carried 22 times, and they're 3.5 and 2.4. And so that part really never changed. They each had a long of 6. We really didn't get our tailback running game going. We moved the ball. We got a couple first downs. I think we had a 17-play drive that results in 3 points. I think just our inability to finish that drive in particular, came down to, it's just a couple yards here and there. I know Rohan had a play down the sideline that it should have been an 8 or 9 yard gain, and it was a 6 yard gain. And we followed up with a 2 yard gain, and it's just things like that. I mean, you have to be able to make all the plays and all the yards that were there, and we didn't, and that's credit to them. I thought they tackled well. I think they kept the ball in front of them for the most part, and that's what we expected. We didn't have an opportunity, maybe enough space to make them miss a whole lot, and the result is we go in. I certainly took a chance going for that fourth down. We were 4th and 5, I think, and just felt like we needed to do something to create a jolt, and we didn't get that 4th down, and they turn around and score right before the half. That sequence going from 14 to 3, and if we punt and pin them down, maybe it's harder for them to get that last score before the half, but I just felt like we needed something to jolt us. And Tommy was, if nothing else, making some plays with his feet, and it didn't happen there. So I think it's a combination. They played well, and we probably just weren't good enough in that that first half.
Okay, we have time for one more. We're going to come here on the left-hand side. Go ahead.
Coulter Nuanez, Skyline Sports. How do you sort of turn the page on this now? I know you're going to let it set in, but how do you sort of move forward as a program after this sort of benchmark loss?
Well, we're back at school a week from tomorrow, and it's really that simple. The 25 team has begun, and you move on from a really good senior group, a great senior group, but I do think the foundation in our program has more than been laid. I think we got a lot of young players that took steps this year. We'll have to take bigger steps. So I guess in some regard, no different than losing in December last year and picking ourselves off the mat, getting a new group of leaders to emerge, and going back to work. It's our expectation for this program is to win this game, and that's hard to do. It's really hard to do. It's really hard to get here first and foremost. The fact that we've gotten here 2 out of the 4 years, I think speaks to where our program's at, I suppose. And we needed to learn another lesson, I guess. I don't know why, but we did. So here we go, on to the next year.